Good evening, folks. My name is Mike Farlow, and this is a introductory session into my CFI ground course, especially some information that as I present this course, I'm definitely going to be sharing and teaching and mentoring everyone to how to make their CFI oral exam a very simple process. Tonight's session is being recorded because I do have a few people who have are unable to attend. So I will be posting this up on YouTube. Everyone whose emails that I have already, I will definitely share with them the link to the YouTube video. So if you think of something later on, and you still have questions, did we talk about it? You're more than welcome to go review that video via the link I provided. If you think that I do not already have your email, just type that into the chat and I'll make sure you get included in the information. So that being said, let's go ahead and get underway, and I'm going to do my quick screen share and bring up the presentation. Okay, here's PowerPoint, and we will start doing the slideshow at the beginning. All right, again, this session is a quick introductory session about my course, which is how to pass your CFI oral exam with ease. I am Mike Farlow, and I am a CFI, CFII, and someone who really enjoys being a mentor to the up and coming generations of instructors. Before we get started with our meeting, I would like to do the before the meeting, are you really paying attention test, also known as the chicken game. So I want you to take a look at this next slide, and the chicken game is basically what I want you to, it's that you're only going to win this game if you don't look at the chicken. So 3, 2, 1, if you looked at the chicken, the game's over. Little bit of humor, because and also a little bit of the attention getter, which when we start talking about presenting lessons, some sort of an attention getter, especially humor, is a great way to bring the class in to being ready to pay attention to what you say. Also, it kind of demonstrates my quirky humor. I love using humor in my presentations. And because if people are enjoying themselves, they tend to learn a whole lot better than when they're not enjoying themselves. Again, I am Mike Farlow. I do reside here in Denton, Texas. Hopefully, we have people from all over the place. I have been a flight instructor since December 2020. So by the calendar, I'm beginning my 5th year as an instructor. I'm an independent CFI, which means I work for myself. I don't necessarily work for a school. Um, I really like doing that because that means I can individualize my teaching to the person and make sure that whatever we're doing, I'm working hard for the success of my client. My background was I was an industrial engineer at where I schooled at Texas A&M. After college, I went out and I did corporate training at some very large companies, including some installations of a very big newspaper organization, the same people that did USA Today a long time ago, also Coca-Cola, also some big shipping organizations, amongst others. So that's where I really learned how to be a speaker in front of a large group, especially doing training with folks. Um, I also had opportunity for about 22 years to work for my father and helped him take a small business into a medium-sized business and to some great success where we were eventually able to sell the business. And now dad is retired and very happy with by being retired. And a great way of describing myself is I'm a very passionate instructor and also love being a mentor to everyone that I work with. The photos show some of the people that I have worked with recently, including the gentleman holding up a piece of paper. That's his check ride. And the two people recently we did their first solos with them. And those that are a part of Reddit saw my post about how I really enjoy sharing the working my artwork for their solo t-shirts or their shirt tails. So let me talk to you about what this class is. And before I really get into this, I'm going to make sure I talk about who this class is for. This class is definitely for the people that are either in the middle of or the beginning of their or about to begin their journey toward becoming a flight instructor. Many people already know that what this exam is a big deal. It's probably one of the biggest activities you're going to face in your aviation career to date. This is really going to set you up for being the professional pilot more so than commercial pilot exam did. So this course I'm sharing is definitely for the people that need to know what they ought to know so they don't waste time and they come out at the end of this very well prepared and walking into the room for that examiner like they own the place. And all they really got to do is just be able to demonstrate to the examiner how good they are. So the examiner says, hey, you are going to be a great instructor. I'm going to bless you with your certificate. So here we go. What is the class? Well, the class is designed, again, to make the preparation for your oral exam very simple and easy. For those of you that do not reside in Dallas-Fort Worth, I've definitely set this up similar to some other no-fly preparation classes. No-fly being that we're not going to try to get you in where you're flying with me and I would be your recommending instructor. But it's definitely going to make you well prepared for whoever you are working with. You're going to be super awesome um, with what's going on. And okay, if FYI, your screen sharing is not showing everything. Oops, my bad. Let me switch over, fix that. Thank you, ASA, for telling me that. Let me go. Where is it? How is that? Can you now see the full thing? Awesome. Cool. Again, the no-fly present, if you're part of the no-fly people, then I'm probably hopefully going to create something that when whoever you are working with to eventually earn the recommendation for the exam, that flight instructor is super happy with your presentation and you're super happy because you're able to stay on track and make the most of this without having to tear your hair out or run around in circles. For those of you that are in the DFW area, we can talk about doing the flight training portion of this and potentially setting you up to be where I am the recommending instructor. If you want to pursue the flight stuff, typically you can be proficient at flight in about 5 to 8 sessions to be very comfortable and very proficient and have my confidence that when you are doing this part of the exam, it's not an issue. You've just got it nailed. You're just going to be able to go out there, show what you need to show the examiner, and he is happy, you are happy. If you do take me up on the flight training, aircraft are operated by the Fort Worth Flying Club, and that is out at the Fort Worth Meacham, Kilo Foxtrot Tango Whiskey. Or if you happen to have access to an aircraft or own an aircraft, we can fly in the aircraft that you would provide. If you want to take me up on this offer, just make contact with me by phone, call me, send me a text, send me an email, and we can definitely work on making that happen. The course is very much based around the ACS for flight instructor and also the other supporting FAA material. However, to keep it interesting and make you better at being an instructor, that's not all we're going to use. I have lots of additional material which I'll be providing, and both as kind of like bonus material and some other stuff that I have, so I can help you build your library of items that you can use toward not only preparation but also teaching your students beyond what we're doing here. The intent of this class is also to go well beyond the idea of just passing your CFI oral exam. A lot of other preparation things out there that you can get in with. They have the appearance of that's all they're going to teach you is teach you the bare minimum to pass the test. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I'm providing you both the guidance and the wisdom to become a really good instructor, especially with those first students. It's not, if you think about it, it's not very fair to those initial students for you to have passed the exam, but then as soon as you get the certificate, after all the excitement wears off from earning a certificate, now you're sitting there going like, what in the heck am I supposed to do now? What, when I'm going to get my first student and I really don't know what to do. Well, I'm going to make sure that's not going to be happening, that you're going to be very much aware of how to be awesome within your first 50 to 100 hours of teaching. I also want to mention that my mentorship is available both during and after this class. So if you are going through something and you need some help or some advice or want to run something by me, you definitely can set up a brief session by texting me, emailing me, or calling me, and we can do the conversation by text, by email, by telephone, or by Zoom. I would prefer that if possible, if it's going to be more than 5 or 10 minutes worth of chatting, that we do it as a scheduled activity so I can make sure I got plenty of time for you. And then also this mentorship will extend to you even after you pass this exam. An example would be you're blessed with a certificate. You have found somebody to teach. You're working with them, and then all of a sudden you kind of run into, oh my goodness, what do I need to do to help this person? I mean, I'm kind of stuck. Yeah, please reach out to me. We can definitely talk about what your situation is, and maybe I might offer some advice to keep you unstuck, or how to take what you're doing and just pour extra fuel on it and just take off like a rocket ship. Let's talk a little bit about how the class is structured. Pretty much what these are going to be, the class, just so I can reach out to everybody and save a little bit of money, save a little bit of time, is we're going to do them by virtual Zoom meetings. Roughly, I'm setting it up that each session is going to be around 3 hours. And I have set up right now for it to be about 12 planned sessions. If the group, as we're doing this, feels that any additional is going needed, we can definitely add them. And I will add, so if we need number 13, number 14, okay, no problem. I'll do that at no additional cost because my focus on this is I want to make this the best class possible for the best value for you. Okay. Everyone, if you could, in the chat, if you could type in what time zone you're in, please, so that way I can kind of also fill in with a little bit with this next question. I'll be talking about doing that. And so right now, the meetings are planned to start about 6 p.m. Central, which so far it looks like it's going to fit most of everybody. And also, and I tried to fit something that would be in the middle. So if we get, I do see one person was on Pacific time, and don't see anybody yet on Eastern, but that could change. We kind of got something in the middle that can work with everybody. And again, each session would go about for about 3 hours. But if we need to do something, if I need to do something a little different, I'm a little flexible. I would just need whoever wants to make a change, I just need the input from that. Currently, I would like to get this started sooner than later. So the planned start for the moment is Sunday, December 29th, and we will skip New Year's Eve. It is currently planned to go every evening, so that way we can just go ahead and get this done. So meeting right now, my idea at the moment, but this is not the only idea, is to meet Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings. If people want to do some other difference, again, just reach out to me by text, by email, by direct message, however you're making communication with me, and I'll definitely take your needs under advisement and somehow make sure, we may not be able to make everybody happy, but I'll try to I'll try to work with people as best that I can so everyone is getting the most out of this they can. Again, every session that we come together will be recorded. After I have had an opportunity to do any editing or something, I will put this up on YouTube and share the link with those who are participating in the course. During the course, I'm also going to be providing lots of extra bonus material. It'll be germane to whatever topic that we're discussing. And then also help you provide pointers to things that you can get. One of the bonus things that I really like to use in my practice is Seth Lake's ACE guide, ACE guide. Um, this can be found under vsl.arrow and click the link for his ACE guide. I had the opportunity to talk with Seth today, and he is setting us up so that we can get you a discount over his normal $70 price. He's still working that up, but we kind of discussed that if you were to purchase that with using a reference code or referral code he's going to give me, you can get $10 off of the price, which is almost 20% of the retail price. I firmly really believe in that product as a very useful product. And Seth Lake has been a great mentor for me, and I definitely want to make sure I'm supporting him. And I also want to make sure you guys have one of the best reference guides out there. So I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get it and get it at a reduced price. That's just one example of this bonus material. I've got a lot of other stuff that I have, other things I'm building. So I'm going to make sure you share out of it. So you're going to get more than just a discussion of the things that are within the ACS. You're going to get a lot of material which you can use for your future teaching. Toward the end of the planned class, I want to probably schedule with you guys 2 additional sessions to provide the opportunity for you to practice teaching. So everyone that's participating in the class can come back on. We'll somehow draw straws for whoever is going to be in the hot seat. And maybe they would have their camera pointed at a whiteboard if they're using the whiteboard, or if they're going to use PowerPoint slides or something like PowerPoint, they're welcome to present that, and we'll give them an opportunity to teach. And also the group and myself will provide some feedback about how they did teaching that. Again, the whole point is to get a little bit of practice, but get maybe some useful feedback to help improve. And when they go to the exam, super confident, super awesome, they're just killing it. Also, at the end of the class, an individualized mock oral can be scheduled. And I highly recommend that you guys take advantage of this, because this will be your double check to make sure you know what you need to know, and we can determine what areas you're crazy strong with and what areas might need a little bit of extra improvement. And also super important to me is that the quality of this class is meeting your expectations as well as mine. And even more importantly, I want to make sure you're having some fun. Um, that's my big selling point to other flight students is if you're having fun, you're learning. If you're having fun, I'm having fun. But if you find out that we're not having fun, then I definitely want to make sure I'm being told so I can figure out what is not happening so we can fix it. Because I really want to make sure you guys are enjoying yourself, not just in learning, but having fun. So let's talk about some of the subjects that I will be covering during the course. Starting off with, I'm going to make sure one of the early sessions, we're going to talk about certain things like the important steps you need to know to make your preparation easier. Everybody has seen stuff or heard stuff and saw that, hey, we got to know these things. And we got um, the Aviation Instructor's Handbook from the FAA. We have the ACS. We have source material like Backseat Pilot, the ACE Guide, and more. But then you're going to go there, well, this is a mountain of material. How do I make sense of it? And really, that's probably one of the big objectives about this oral exam is you making sense of it. So when you are in front of the examiner, it's not this big mess where you just got to reach into a pile of information and try to pull out the right thing. We're going to try to cover I'm going to give you guidance that says at the beginning here's how to make sense of it. Here's how to not waste time. Here are the things that you should be doing, the things you don't have to worry about doing, but here's what you need to know. Here's the reference material you should use. Here's some of the source material you use. Also, I want to make sure we cover some of the common errors, things people often do, which just turns out to be a rabbit trail problem, or they just tear their hair out, they waste time, and they wind up halfway through prep, throwing it all away and starting over again. I want to avoid that. We're definitely going to talk about how to build your, I call them not lesson plans, I call them teaching summaries. The thing to remember is that everybody calls them lesson plans because that's the old thing. And the implication is sometimes these are the exact same plans you build or buy that you'll be using throughout your teaching career. Uh, yeah and no. Really, what you're going to do is you got to think of who is your audience for this exam. Who is your audience? It's the examiner. How is he making sure you're teaching it right? The ACS. So, and then later on, it's going to be the individual student. And an individual student is also, each individual is different. Uh, a common ground session I will teach is airspaces or VFR communication. Is my lesson the exact same thing every single time? No, not really. But I have a summary. There's a bit of a checklist to make sure I don't miss anything, that I'm covering everything. And I'm also doing it in a logical, known, start with what they do know, move to what they don't know, and then cover everything in between. I call those teaching summaries. And so I'm going to help you understand a suggested and simplified structure that you could use if you're teaching on the whiteboard or if you're one who wants to build PowerPoint slides. I want to take a little moment and say, yes, Backseat Pilot is now providing better and better PowerPoint slides. Could you use those during your exam? Sure. But I'm not going to, I'm going to suggest that you use those for inspiration and kind of do something on your own, because I sure as heck don't want you to go in front of an examiner. He recognizes that you're using Backseat Pilot or somebody else's without changing anything, and then you get a strike against you for not putting in any effort. So my suggestion is if you use PowerPoint, build something up on your own. And I'm going to cover some pointers of how to make that happen and not have to burn a lot of time doing it. Also, during one of the first classes is not only the important steps in building your teaching summaries, but I want to cover the important CFI regulations that apply to you. This oftentimes is not something other prep classes will do, but it's crazy important. You should know these. You're responsible for knowing these. So we definitely want to make sure to cover the regulations as they exist that apply to you now and make sure you understand them. Hint, these are not part of the ACS, but if I don't teach it, how you know that they exist, and if I don't teach them to you and you don't know you exist, you might get hung out to dry, get stuck by one of the regulations, and just like not knowing that you couldn't speed through a neighborhood, ignorance is no defense. You're supposed to know this stuff. It's in the regs. So we want to make sure to cover that. And I want to make sure also to cover the thing that went into, I believe right at the beginning of this month is when the regulation about renewals, how does a CFI get renewal? And also the new thing covering where instead of it being, it does not expire, but you got to demonstrate some recent experience. I want to kind of unpack that a little bit so to make sure you guys know what you need to know about that. What are the other things that we're going to cover? Well, definitely we're going to talk about the fundamentals of instruction, a little more detail on that in just a moment. We're definitely going to cover some things from the technical subject areas, including endorsements. And we're going to talk about the area of operation that covers pre-flight preparation and also demonstrate how to teach maneuver lessons. The last three, the asterisk pretty much means we're going to definitely review your knowledge of these things. It will be a presentation where I go over my lesson on this, but I'm going to show you what we're talking about because I want to make sure you guys know the things you're supposed to know. I want to make sure that when you go in front of that examiner, our review has helped you demonstrate to the examiner you know what you need to know, and you can speak to with authority about the information. You can answer the curveball questions, or if you're not quite sure what the answer should be, we've talked about where to go find that answer. So again, I want to help you be in this exam, owning the room. And even when they try to push you off your center, you know how to claw your way back into center and make it work. Also, during this, we'll make sure as the class we're covering, if anything comes up that you say, hey, Mike, I've got a great idea. Can we talk about X, Y, and Z? Because if we talk about it, it's really going to help me in the preparation or really boost my confidence. Absolutely, I want your contributions. This is kind of a semi-canned thing. Yes, I'll have things made up that we're going to talk about, but it's not so fixed that we can't fly 2 degrees to the left to avoid the big thunderstorm, or going to the right is going to find the pot of gold that you need to make this awesome. During the fundamentals of instruction, I want to make sure we're talking about not only the information that the instructor's handbook and the ACS is wanting you to know and talk to the examiner about, but I need to make sure you really have some clues on how to apply it. The ACS really is only talking about the minimum you need to know per the FAA for the exam. But you guys know coming up through this thing that, minimums are a great guideline, but a minimum does not always make you the best pilot for this thing. You should be going above and beyond it a little bit. So that's what I am talking about here is I'm going to give you some extra information to be an effective flight instructor. Also, this being a flight instructor very well could be the first opportunity to be a professional teacher. So I want to definitely help you be able to know what you need to do to become really excel at that. Because to be an effective flight instructor, you've got to be able to apply what we are learning from the FOIs. So understanding the behavior and communication details allows you to address the needs and motivation of your students. Knowing the FOI knowledge on preparation of a lesson will help you make a rock star in the student's eyes or the group's eyes if you're asked to teach a classroom. And understanding and applying what is required to be a professional instructor will help you draw new clients to you because you're being perceived as better than the rest, and your existing clients want to keep coming back to you and doing more work. Flight, and then also the last thing that an FOIs kind of talks about is going to be risk management. So flight training has lots of risks. And so we need to make sure we're talking about how to identify, manage, and mitigate risks. So that way you can maximize the safety of both the student and yourself. Okay. Oh, sorry. So, so basically, I will provide methods to make the FOIs easier, which means memory aids and cheat codes, and also doing humor too. And the lady with the another chicken joke is basically a reference back to my chicken game. If we did not come through on that, I can show it again. But basically, I just thought this is actually a meme from the 1970s, so it shows you my age. I just remember laughing as being a funny thing, and I thought that was kind of appropriate. We're also at the end of the FOIs. We're going to do a very fun review session using a popular game show format. Those that are participating in the class, you definitely don't want to miss that. And I'm going to set up a cool prize to offer for the winning team. Another benefit by being with the class and going through the FOIs is we're going to make sure I can issue endorsements as a result of this. A recent change in the regulations required that training for the FOI knowledge exam be given. So if you have not yet taken the FOI knowledge exam, then I can issue that. I know many of you may have used Shepherd Air to prepare, and then Shepherd Air issued the knowledge exam endorsement. Wonderful. But if you have not yet done the knowledge exam, going through this section, I can definitely issue that to you. You just let me know if you need it. Also, 61.185 Alpha 1 has training required for the CFI practical exam on the FOI items. Those of you in the Dallas-Fort Worth area might know who Kyle Thomas is. He is a chief instructor and assistant dean of aviation education at a university in Durant, Oklahoma. Recently, I took a fellow up there for his CFI exam, and Kyle was extremely pleased that I included that endorsement with the other endorsements. Yes, we for that candidate we did go through a review of the oral of the CF of the FOIs, and that counted as a training. But Kyle pointed out that so many instructors candidates come to him, they don't have this. So I want to make sure that we have the opportunity to provide it to you. Even if you don't have me as a recommending instructor, I can still issue this to you because we went through it. And that way, if you do get to use someone else as the recommending instructor, this base is covered. You're all good. Your examiner will be happy with you. After the FOIs, we need to cover technical subject areas. As we do this, we're going to review the key knowledge areas within the technical subject areas that you're expected to know and be really good at being able to teach those. As I do this, I'm going to show you, I'm going to be teaching, but I'm going to give to you ahead of time my teaching summary. I'm going to show you how I'm making use of the teaching summary, how my outline looks, so that way we're staying on track, how I am staying on track as I present this. This is a way of me showing you how can you solve the puzzle of presenting this subject to the examiner and not take up 2 hours to do it. You have a lot of control over how long the whole exam goes. And hopefully we can show you something that you can make each session an average of 25 to 30 minutes. You probably got about 8 to 9, maybe 10 things to show the examiner. So if we can make it where you can do the whole thing in 3 hours, wonderful. That way it will not be one of these marathon slogs. During tech subject, we're definitely going to talk about log booking and endorsements. That's one of the mandatory required items, as is runway incursion avoidance. But I definitely want to make sure we spend a little more time on endorsements because that's an area that you must understand. It's a big emphasis area. If I can help you understand this, if I can help you make the remembering of everything simple, job accomplished. And that's what I want to do with that specific session. In fact, I call this one endorsements made easy. And you're definitely going to get some bonus material sent to you for that. You also are going to be asked to do pre-flight preparation. There's an area of operation 3 is pre-flight preparation, and then 4 onward is talking about different maneuvers. And we're definitely going to cover, again, sample lessons showing you to talk about how would you present pre-pilot qualifications? How would you talk about airworthiness requirements? How would you talk about weather information? Hint, you're only going to be asked to talk about one of them. But if I can show you all 3 a little bit here, you're going to be that much further ahead. And you definitely can almost take what I've got. And honestly, I don't mind you stealing it. I don't mind you using what I got. Just please put your own spin on that. So I'm just going to pick on Avi. Avi, if you would use my thing, you're more than welcome to. Just go over it and you realize, I want to put the Avi flavor into this. So do so. Put things in, change things around, whatever, add your embellishments. So that way it very much comes from you.
I'll keep that in mind.
Also, during the flight lessons, once again, this should demonstrating or teaching you will demo it in flight, but you're also going to be asked to teach one on the whiteboard or your PowerPoints. Once again, I want to show you how you can teach that. My plan is let's pick something that you will do in private pilot, which is stalls and stall recovery. When we get there, I'm going to mention why do I add stall recovery to this. So if you join the class and I don't talk about why should I talk about stall recovery, remind me. There's a good story about that. We're also going to have you also show you how to teach S-turns on the road. I'm also going to pull from commercial pilot because as a CFI, brand new CFI airplane, not only are you going to teach brand new private pilots, you also have the privilege of teaching commercial pilots. Who knows? Your very first client could be somebody going for their commercial pilot certificate. And now you need to know what you ought to know to teach these things, especially to maneuver. But even with the commercial pilot stuff you would have to teach in a class, my format would give you something to work with to build up simple teaching summaries. So instead of taking 2 hours to teach a lesson, maybe you get it done in 20 minutes and you cover all that's required. So let's also figure out, if a good syllabus or a good flight lesson is going to have not only the components of what is a lesson, what are you going to teach, but it also needs to have what is success. If you don't define what the target is or what the target looks like, how is your student ever going to hit the target? So I want to make sure we define what is a successful class going through this preparation class. I'm going to make sure when you finish that you are very happy and you're properly equipped to quickly take my format, my suggested stuff. By the way, this is nothing new. I pretty much stole half of this from my mentors, I went through a class at Thrust Flight. Many of you know about Thrust Flight out of Addison. And the fellow that I taught from, he also built the stuff that American Flyers still uses to this day. So yeah, my mentor, Bob Choate, thank you for all this wonderful, great stuff you've given me, Bob. I'm now passing it on to the future generations. But I want to make sure your success includes how to rapidly take my format that I'm sharing and build your teaching summaries. I also want to make sure you have an actual plan for success. You know how to go from hardly anything to being crazy prepared, maybe to the point where it's just now review and you're just waiting for the exam date. Success is also going to mean that your feelings of maybe being overwhelmed are greatly reduced. This is a huge mountain of material to organize. And if you're ever going to be an outdoors person, you're going to eventually go climb a big mountain. Oh boy, that's a big mountain. I've got a long way to go. How in the world am I going to get there? I feel a little anxious because I don't know. Well, we're going to stop that. I'm going to make sure you know how all those feelings of being overwhelmed aren't there anymore. Also, maybe my guidance and mentoring and follow up make sure that any rabbit trailing that's happened is very little or quickly gets identified and redirected to being on path. Success is also going to mean that your confidence level when you go into that room for the exam is super high and you're ready to kick butt. And as you work toward this, and we're talking, we're learning, we're reviewing, I can hear that confidence level increasing. So if I'm sensing that you started off a little shaky, not really knowing, but now hours into this and further down, and maybe we're getting at the end, I just hear so much of a night and day difference. That tells me that we are achieving our goals here. I also want to make sure that you know how to take control of the exam again and prevent it from becoming an all day long marathon. Mainly that one is look at, teach what you're supposed to teach. Make sure you cover what the ACS wants you to cover, but don't peel layers of the onion back so far that you don't have to prove yourself a doctorate level expert at something. No, you just need to basically be able to say, hey, I have in this area, I have 3 things to share. I only need to go down 2 layers and that satisfies the ACS. Perfect. Move on. Don't spend 10 minutes when 2 would have done. Don't talk with 5,000 words when 500 would have done the job. So we're going to be working and planning on for that. And if I'm helping you get there, cool. If I'm helping you keep this exam to a minimum time, wonderful. We are winning. We are being successful. So with all that, here comes some of the most important stuff. This class that I'm offering tonight is free. It's an introductory. This is my infomercial to do this. So let's talk about what the cost is. The cost of all the planned sessions and more and bonus is $950. Okay. Now, if you think about, if you take the math we're going to do, which is going to be about minimum 36, maybe as much as 45 hours of activity, that gets to be silly inexpensive. Think about what you've been paying instructors per hour so far to help you achieve what you achieved so far. I worked it out. I did the math. It's going to come out that probably you're paying less than $30 an hour for this hopefully very high quality worth of information, as well as the support. If I turn out that you think I'm the guy who just gave you this information, tossed it at your lap and said, good luck, please send somebody over to my house to kick my butt, because that's not me. I want to make sure that you get every penny's worth of value out of this and more. Also, I want you to consider what the cost is. So $950 does sound like a lot, but what is your time worth? So if we did not sit down with you, if I did not provide you something to start with, something to be in the middle with, something to be successful with at the end, be there to guide you throughout the whole process. If you did not, what is your time worth if you didn't take the class and wound up wasting a lot of time and effort? Folks, that was me. I probably spent 150 to 200 hours wandering around in the desert until I finally got smart and hired a 2-year instructor and who sat me down and said, oh, everything you're doing, Mike, is a good start, but we kind of need to start over on a few things. I spent 50 hours worth of he was very generous. He was around $35, but so I'm emulating him. But I really saved a whole lot of time. And when I went into my exam, I was highly confident, and that examiner could tell. But if I went to that exam without that guidance, it would have been a complete disaster. I also want to emphasize that what you're getting for your cost is a very effective and passionate mentor. I have I have a high success rate with all of my students. I have had a few people. There are a few that had to go back for a retry, mostly because they only messed up on one thing in the flight. Every oral exam got passed on the first go. The retreads, quote unquote, were only because, like a private pilot student, he messed up the short field landing. My CFI guy, trying to remember. Of course, the power off 180's got him. But went back up, practiced, nailed it the next time with the first go. But everybody passed their oral exam on the first go. And so I feel I'm very effective. Hopefully you can hear my voice. I'm very passionate, and I really want to invest in your personal success. How will you register? I want you can use the QR code that's there. Again, you can pick this up by screenshotting what you got, or you can send me an email that says, Mike, can I get that QR code so I can register? Happy to send that to you. But I do ask to be able to be in the class. I do need the money in, and that reserves you a seat. And again, also reserves that I am in your corner throughout the whole process. So even if I wasn't your recommending instructor, I'm still with you all the way through and beyond the exam. Once you're registered, I'm definitely going to confirm, and I'm going to start feeding you preparation details and some of the bonus material. So when I have your email, you're really going to start getting a feed from me on a routine basis. Also, I probably will set up a Discord channel, and that way those that are participating in the class will have yet another means to communicate with myself and communicate with each other. This very much is going to be, it takes a village type of thing. So if more than one of you on board tonight, for those of you that are going to look at this as a recorded thing, if you join the Discord, if you join the class and on the Discord, please ask your questions to the Discord. And those participating in Discord, please feel free to contribute your ideas, your solutions. Let's all help one another and be one of the most awesomest set of instructors we can become. Are there discounts to that 950? Oh, yes, absolutely. There can be a few discounts. If you register and pay for the class before midnight Friday, I will do your final review at half off. Normally, that's like the mock oral. That is about 8 hours of about almost about 6 to 8 hours worth of activity. And instead of it being almost $400, I will do it for much less, 50% off. And so, if you want to take advantage of a mock oral with me and do it at a big cost savings, there you go. I just saved you about $200 off that full off the price. Also, if you know others if you're really saying, yeah, Mike, it sounds like you're going to be the guy for me, and I think my friend should be in on this class too. If your friend joins the class and registers and pays before the class starts on the Sunday before Christmas, I will rebate you $50. So theoretically, if you got four other people to get them to join, you just saved almost 40% off your costs if you want to do that. Okay. So now, guys, I'm going to now turn this over for questions and answers. If you're muted, you're welcome to unmute. And I would like to know, based on what you saw, based on what's presented, is there anything missing or is there anything I should include that would help you in this preparation toward your exam? And don't be shy.
Would you say it's beneficial to have already completed both of the written exams, or do you think it's just as acceptable to go through this and then take the exams?
Both. Because essentially the just like some of the other like the other things you've done so far, I'll pass this back to you. So when you obviously have taken the written exam for your commercial pilot, correct?
That's correct.
How represent 0 to 100%? Zero being not at all, 100% being, oh yeah, it was exactly what it was. Was the written exam, how much of that written exam was reflected, or how much did that help you prepare for the oral exam for commercial pilot?
That's a good question. I don't remember. I would say probably about half of it. I mean, as I recall, there was a little bit of time between the time I took the written and did the practical and oral exam. The only reason I ask is because I've already done the fundamentals of instruction written exam. I did that through Shepherd Air. I just haven't done the other written exam yet.
Okay. So when we hit on fundamentals of instruction, and when we get to the part which is how people learn, we're definitely going to make use as we go through this stuff, some of the laws of learning and domains of learning. And there's also a little shortened thing about that you may have seen me when I post on Reddit. You'll see me talking about an acronym that's called RUAC or RUAC. Shepherd, very much a rote memorization exercise. Would you agree to that?
Yeah.
So, do you think Shepherd, in just its existing form, helped you to understand, apply, or correlate the information where you can go off into the world and make use of it?
Oh, no. Uh-uh.
So that's where the class like this is really going to help you, because that's what I'm talking about. Is sure, I can sit here and just record almost like an audio book the information. Well, heck, why would you pay me for that when you can pretty much read the instructor's guide or the instructor's
Yeah.
guide?
Yeah.
No, I need to get you into the level of deep understanding, then take that understanding and answer the question as well. Okay, great. Dad, why do I have to learn algebra? I don't understand where I will ever use algebra or any of this math in the real world. Well, okay. Let me show you, little young man, how you're going to use algebra. So again, I will definitely be giving you opportunities to understand how would you take this law of learning or this detail of the fundamentals of instructions and then apply it into the real world. So, or give you this level of understanding such that when it hits you in the real life, you go, oh crap, I remember talking about that there in class with Mike. And I now have the answer to help this guy because instead of him stumping me and going like, I have no idea, let's go look it up. You're going like, I know what we need to do to fix this. That's where a class like this can help. So to get back to it, if you have already taken the writtens, wonderful, great. Milestone done, out of the way. If you've not yet taken them, also cool. Maybe what I present to you in all this stuff helps you to see some of these things and go like, in when you're use Shepherd or whatever prep for the written exam, you're going like, I know the answer faster, quicker, deeper because I was part of the class.
Yeah.
And the whole point of this, of course, is this will help you pass the writtens, yes, but more importantly, it's going to help you walk into that exam room for the oral, and you are standing proud, and you're not freaking out. You know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hey, Mike, this is Fawn. Just have a clarifying question.
Sure.
I think earlier I saw something about the class having a mock oral included, or is that different from the
That's an added thing.
okay.
So it's not basically the 950 is for the class. Now, because I'm not, but if for so, but usually if you wanted, if you came to me, like many of you know, I participate heavily on Reddit's r slant flying, and it's well known that I would be very much can be hired to help people do a review for their oral exam of whatever level they want. Typically, I ask around $350 to $400 for about $300 for the non-instructor ones, $400 for the instructor ones because the instructor is just more deep. It's going to take more time, more areas to cover. So normally I ask around $400 for those. But if you buy into the class, you're only going to pay $200 for that. So it's even less expensive than the regular exam reviews that I do.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you.
Sure. So now I want to ask if is these I would like to again want to get this going earlier than no, I don't want to put it off to where now we're hitting February and we haven't done anything. But see, what do you guys any issues with a start date of around Sunday the 29th? This is not set in stone. If we need to flex it a little bit, I'm open. I'm all ears.
Maybe on Monday, I think. I'll
Monday.
definitely am very interested. Probably will sign up for this class. But
Okay.
is there anything maybe push it out one day?
Okay. We can definitely, so it would be, let me look at my phone and remind myself, look at my calendar day. So Monday's the 30th. Yeah, we could definitely do session one. I wanted to skip New Year's Eve because I want to make everybody got to get a chance to go party. Probably go ahead and skip Wednesday the 1st, so that way you can recover from a hangover or watch your whatever your if you're a football person, watch your football games or whatever your sport is. And yeah, we could do that. Or I'm open for that. So so I would say then, how's this for the rest of you guys that are going to purchase and then send me an email or whatever saying, hey, I bought in. Tell me what if you want to start on Monday, just indicate so I know that's what to plan for because I want to plan my calendar and be ready for you guys because part of what I'm doing right now is building up the slide presentations and the bonus material. So when we come together on class for whatever the subject is, I'm super prepared and I'm kind of basically I'm showing you how you need to be as you gain the expertise. Okay. So yes, I definitely can Monday is definitely possible. Okay, and I see Hayden has checked in on that too. All right, so you asked me already some of your other questions. You came in and asked a little bit, but as you were thinking about this, if you saw, again, just go on the recording, if you look at the recording and go, oh, wait a moment. Hey, Mike, don't see that you have talked about A, B, and C, or can we make sure to talk about 1, 2, 3 when we hit this section? Please send me that feedback. One of the things that I think has made me a better instructor than others is I end every lesson with, did I meet the standards of your, or did I meet your expectations? Or did I fail miserably? And, or did I somehow make you frustrated? Because a frustrated, how many times for those of us that participate on Reddit, read the stories about someone coming online and they're just at loggerheads with their instructor? Well, sometimes I don't think those instructors even ask for critique or feedback. I'm going to encourage you guys to always do that. I will ask you about that. So, I'm gonna say one more thing, and then I'm gonna shut up, let you have a few moments to talk and contribute. But this slide presentation today, did it meet what you thought it should meet? And did I achieve the goal that we set out to share with you this information? And finally, do you think you're going to find value from participating in a course like this?
100%.
It's very well put together.
Okay, guys. Sorry, someone else is going to talk.
Oh yeah,
No
I
worries.
just have a side question.
Yes.
Let's say we do go with you for in-person, extra flight training, and you would sign us off to DPE, or do you have like a DPE contact in that area?
Great question. I do have a few guys that I kind of keep in my pocket that, no, let me first step back. Anywhere you go, you know that you can look up on the FAA website for under the Find a DPE search system. Well, what you guys may not have already, if you haven't already been told, here's an important thing. Not every examiner on that list is authorized to do his initial instructor exams. Also, every once in a while, you come across an examiner that everybody likes for private pilot, instrument, and commercial, and maybe some other things. But that individual examiner has opted not to do instructor initial exams. Happens. But I know that most of the guys in the DFW area that do, and most of these guys are also ones that will take, because I've already brought some people to them, they know the product I bring to the table. They will take my phone call or email versus how many other stories have you heard said, I have sent an email to everybody in the nation and no one will call me back. No, these guys will at least call, well, at least it may take a couple pokes, but I can talk to them. Typically for instructor initials, they want me to have you ready, you're ready to be endorsed. In other words, don't call somebody tomorrow, maybe thinking we're going to have you ready by the 15th of January. Maybe we could, but maybe the deck is stacked against us to where maintenance or weather or some other issues, you're not, or your confidence level just isn't there. And we have to call and cancel. Because you remember, the examiners are going to book for the entire day. And if we're calling within 7 days to say, oh, we got to reschedule, not really fair. But that being said, the ones that I like to use typically will book within 4 to 5 weeks. So it won't be that long. And if I get a sense of your progress is very good, you're likely going to earn the recommendation and the sign off within a week or two. I'm making the phone calls. I'm going to try to get somebody set up so we don't have this crazy long wait we hear about often. And if you want a few names, Joe Johnson is one, Pat Cannon is one. I think Brandon Mazo just got authorization. So yeah, that's just some examples. I got a few people I can reach out to get it set up.
Oh, thank you for that information. And could you remind me which kind of what airport is it in the Dallas area?
The airport that I am doing my offering training out of directly is Fort Worth Meacham, Kilo Foxtrot Tango Whiskey. I like to tell the joke if you reverse the letters, it's something else. Uh, WTF. And the flying club is fortworthflyingclub.org. That's who has the airplanes. It's a killer deal for rentals because of course, there's an initiation fee, but the monthly dues are cheap, and the rental price is $80 an hour dry for a Cessna 172s. If you want to fly the Warrior, it's $85 an hour dry. I think when my students have bought fuel and we do convert that to a wet rate, it's about 125 an hour. And for the Dallas Fort Worth area, that's a pretty competitive deal.
Yeah, I'm in the Bay Area, so you know the prices are a little out of whack out here. So,
Okay, so 172 wet, what is it for your region?
well, I fly out of a club, so they're a nonprofit, and they charge about like 150 wet. So that's a pretty good deal. But other flight school, I've seen it go up to like 180. You know, if they have a better avionics in there, even go up to 200 an hour.
Right. Avi, you've been flying with Aviator, correct?
Yes, sir. That's right.
What are they doing their Cessnas at?
It varies. The 172s, it's like 160, 180, but for the 182s, it's pretty ridiculous, like 230.
Uh, Avi is he lives not far from where I do. He has been operating with he's been working with a school based at Grand Prairie Municipal, Kilo Golf Papa Mike, not terribly far from Fort Worth Meacham. But I just want to say, he shared with you what another school is asking. So, yeah, Fort Worth Flying Club is also nonprofit, and they are, like I said, a competitive price. So, if you do want, in fact, I have had a couple of people come out to me, and we did their stuff online. They were able to say, "Hey, Mike, I want to come out in the span of this amount of time, short. Let's do all the flying, and let me earn your recommendation for the exam." So we fly, we have ground sessions, the individual earns the recommendation. We work on getting an exam, and then they can come back out later. And so we get the exam date for 4, 5, 6 weeks away, and they come back. Yeah, that's totally possible if that's what you would like to do.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, I had a guy come all the way from Chicago because I guess everything I was sharing on Reddit was worth something. I mean, some of you guys came from Reddit, and I really appreciate that. That's what Keaton did too. He came all the way from Chicago. We worked for he stayed in town. I got a lead on just like about Airbnb, same thing, but it's about it's not quite Airbnb, but it's where you can find a room from a verified and safe person. And you can so it's cheaper than renting the whole house. And I can share that resource. But he came down for about 4 weeks, and we scheduled, we worked hard. He was ready to go, and he was I learned a lot of stuff from him because he had already put a lot of thought, a lot of preparation into it, and he came off with some wonderful ideas and I was like, oh hell man, I am so stealing that idea. So yeah, if I want to, what do we got to do? I want to make you properly prepped, and I want to have a whole lot of fun. I want to have it fun for you, and of course I'm going to have fun as we go too. Okay. I'm not hearing any additional questions. I'm going to just go and do stop the share, and I'm also going to stop the recording. So I'll stick around after the recording, but I just want to thank everybody who has attended so far. And again, if I already had your email, you expect to see a link, and you will view this on YouTube. So once again, thank you very much for your participation, and I hope to see you as part of the class.
Thank you.